Hello Libra, and welcome to your August 2022 video. So this video is for Sun, Moon and Rising. Your Sun signs, your goals, what you want to achieve, what you want to move towards. Your Moon sign is more your emotional self, your inner world, and your Rising is more your physical world of what's coming towards you. Pay attention to your Sun and Rising, as the Moon is more subjective, but you can watch that to get an overall understanding of your month ahead. Okay, so on the 4th, we have Mercury moving into your 12th house of August. So it's almost birthday time. Mercury in the 12th house has you thinking a lot about the past. You might even not be in the best of moods for communication, right? Because you're in this place when it comes to the 12th house where you could be having vivid dreams and you could be thinking a lot about the past. You could be thinking a lot about things that have brought you down. The 12th house is an emotional house. It's our subconscious house. It's a house of that generally needs healing. The things within us that, that we keep tucked away. You are now going to face and you're going to go through a process of healing, but you're mentally thinking about it. This would be a great time if you want to communicate in essence of like a counselor or someone that's a trusted friend. You're not in the business or time frame of communicating to everyone and anyone. This is where you might even find hidden things coming to light. Maybe things that people have said, because you are contemplating the past. And this is where things that are hidden come to light, especially about communication and things that were said. Maybe you didn't know what was said and now you find out that information. It's definitely a very spiritual time. It's a time for closure, healing, forgiveness, compassion to you. So take that time when Mercury is there to do as much healing mentally you can. Very good for a trip maybe, where you kind of take a small trip to, get some solitude. Because that's what you're looking for. Solitude, closure, isolation, time away, a little bit of a mental break. Very much needed during that time for you to rejuvenate you. Very good for learning anything to do with the spiritual aspects. If you have a spiritual book that you want to read, it can help you grow immensely during that time and evolve past anything that is keeping you stuck in the past. Right? So anything to do with crystals, healing, chakra balancing, very much needed. A reading even. Anything to get you more in touch with your spiritual world is highlighted during this time and it will be very beneficial for you. So think of this as the time where you are healing. On the 11th, 12th, full moon in your 5th house. Where have you been lacking fun? Have you been giving any energy to your inner child? As adults, no matter the age, we need to feed our inner child and do things that are fun, that make us feel that childlike sense of humor and happiness. The joy. You will notice during this time that you don't have much of that. Very good for rekindling. Like you might be like, okay, I'm lacking this joy. So rekindling that inner child or rekindling romance. Maybe the romance part of life, has been a bit stagnant. So now you'd want to, reignite it. You'd want to get into that place. But Saturn is with this full moon. So you're kind of feeling very restricted when it comes to your fun, when it comes to your creativity. You've been working on it. When it comes to that inner child stuff, it's teaching you, but it's taking you some time and you'll feel very restricted about what you can do. So what I suggest during this full moon is breathe. For one, don't forget to do that and just really go with it and see what makes you happy and do that very thing. Watching a humorous sitcom, great. Or, spending time with children. Very good to reignite that inner child. Very much a situation where what makes me happy, what makes me feel alive and connects to my inner child and do that. Very good for creative pursuits. You might find it hard to tap into it because Saturn is restricting it a bit, but tap into it. Connect if you need to rekindle some romance in your life. Plan something romantic. And sometimes you need to romance yourself, right? You need to blend yourself up some love oil and put it all over you and light a candle and take a lovely bath. This is where we romance ourselves, where we pleasure ourselves and take that time to do that. On the 11th, 12th, Venus moves into your 11th house. So on that same day, you want to connect to your social group, but you're looking for people that are on your level, on your soul vibe. You want that deeper connection. Venus is about love and beauty in your connections when it comes to your social circles, your friend groups. So you were thinking about, how can I connect deeper to my social circle? Where's the love here? And if it's not, you're going to want to like, oh no, I need to connect to where I really feel the love, where I really feel connected to people. Very good for sharing a message. If you want to teach someone a beautiful message, you will come across, like your words will come across a lot sweeter, right? In a group, a spiritual group even for that matter. Very good for information. But it's an absolutely lovely time for seeing what you love and how it's going to take you into the long term, your hopes and dreams and wishes. On the 20th of August, we have Mars moving into your 9th house. And Mars will be staying there for 7 months because it goes retrograde this year. Generally, Mars stays in the sign for 6 weeks, but now Mars will be here for 7 months in this 9th house. And it's really working on your sense of spiritualism, right? When we think of the 9th house, Mars wants you to take action on your spiritual journey, your wisdom, higher learning, anything you want to learn, teach, publication, writing. Great to get started on it. Excellent time. 7 months, Mars is there. There's a retrograde that's telling you what you didn't do previously, but currently we're not there yet. So Mars is saying take action on what it is that you want. It's also good for trips and journeys and going on a vacation too. So Mars is like, okay, and that's, I get it. I really get it, because sometimes Mars wants us to, the 9th house, wants us to take a trip so we can gain perspective, so we can gain some new experience, which gives us wisdom, which changes the way in which we see the world. And that's how big the 9th house is. It's our higher education when we discuss it. And that means where we, if you were to think of like, when you were in earlier grades in school, that is where you were just gaining information. But when you got into your tertiary education, higher education, this is where now you are going down a path and you are going to be practical and learn through experience. You're taking your education to a higher level. That's the energy of it. So it's always like looking at your life where you're taking things to a higher level. You're leveling up. What do you need to learn? What inspires you? What connects you? And that is generally through experience, right? So if we were to look at when we're learning in our early days, reading, writing, adding, math, all of those things, that would be considered information. And then as we get into higher learning, where we're like, okay, this is maybe the career I want, you're gaining information, but you need to then eventually get into some form of practical learning with it. And that's the experience behind it. And the one thing about the 9th house, it loves to teach us through experience. There's a lot of opportunities in your experiences for you. Mars encourages that. Very good for writing, for publication, anything you want to put out there, teaching, courses, even for yourself, either learning it or teaching a course. So 7 months, interesting. On the 22nd, 23rd, we have the sun moving into your 12th house. So when the sun highlights the 12th house, time for rest and closure, endings. So Mercury had you thinking about early in the month, and by the time the sun gets there, it illuminates it for you. Anything hidden comes to light. So anybody that you feel that is not there for you comes to light, right? If you feel like someone's hiding how they truly feel, it comes to light. If someone is, any secrets come to light here, especially when it comes to people. 12th house has to do with your subconscious, rest and rejuvenation, dreams become vivid. This is a spiritual house of closure. Past experiences come to light. People from the past might re-enter your life for some closure. You might have a conversation with a loved one and they bring up something from the past for closure. So it is a point of healing. And a lot of closure too from the year that you've had. You're coming to birthday time. Before then, we have to close the chapters. This is a time of endings too, where you might want to close doors on certain people, certain situations that no longer are fitted to who you are becoming. On the 25th, 26th, we have Mercury in your sign, and you're going to want to communicate that. First house, self-expression. Mercury is thinking about you. You want to express yourself, what's important to you. You want to get that off your chest. You'll be doing a lot of healing, contemplation, seclusion, coming to these aha moments about your past and so forth. By the time Mercury moves into your first house, you're thinking about you. You want to communicate and express yourself. You want to say how you feel. So do so. Express yourself. Let out what you need to let out. You are thinking more along the lines of what's good for you. Where do you need to create boundaries? Very important. On the 27th, we have a new moon in your 12th house. And with the new moon comes endings, rest, and rejuvenation, where you close chapters, where you think about the past and you think about experiences that you've had. If you've noticed, we talk a lot about that during this month of August, of closure, putting things to an end, laying things to rest, putting things to bed. There's a lot of emotional healing and transformation for you, Libra. It's not an easy month because of that. It can feel a bit difficult in those aspects, but you are definitely coming to a point of healing and understanding for you. Thank you so much for watching. Do like and subscribe. My website's linked down below if you'd like a reading, as well as a link for appreciation on these videos.